I completed my mechanical engineering in 2007. I remember distinctly when I got my first campus placement in 2007 at Fidelity Investments in Bangalore, with a starting salary of about 3,60,000 CTC. Everyone in my family was elated. So I got started into trading in 2015. At the time, I was actively employed in a pharmaceutical firm, and it was more out of an impulse, more out of a need to create an additional income source. And after having carefully evaluated that it's too difficult to start a business, a product based or a service based business while you're full time engaged at a work, there were very few choices practically, which complemented my skill set, personality, the capital I had in mind, the kind of risk I was willing to take. There was literally nothing else other than trading. The realization that I'm above average in this came to me pretty soon, like within the first 1.5 year itself. And from that phase to the next 2.5 years was just impulse control, where I almost felt like now I should quit my job, now I should quit my job. But each year I just waited for more confirmation. I distinctly remember when I was planning to quit my job, I told my dad that I have set up my company, and he said that "Tu kis khet ki mooli hai?" or something like "Mendak mein kuan." There's that phrase that a frog in the well thinks that it's the biggest fish because it's in a well. And there were analogies given that traders even fail after 5 years, after 10 years. And he's the most logical person I know, and he's also one of the most intelligent people I know. That's the reason why I involve him in every decision, even today, outside of trading. So I obviously took that feedback very seriously and very critically. But no matter how I saw it, I believed it, that I am not that frog in the well. So while I was employed, I obviously had a stable income source. But during that period, I was also a profitable trader. So I was also creating the speculative income source. This speculative income source gave me the resources to incorporate my own company, to get all the licenses required in order to conduct a business. I even started conducting my business while I was at work. And it is my company that started generating a stable income source, which at the time was nowhere comparable to the salary income that I was drawing. But it is only after all of this was created that I actually quit my job. When I quit my job, I was approximately 33 years of age at that time. Another reason why I quit my job at that time was because I completed 5 years in that organization. So I get a gratuity. I completed almost 10 to 12 years working as an employee. So I would get a sizable PF. So I had these things planned out in order to provide short-term stability based on what I was doing. So my point being that your success and failure in the stock market is directly correlated to the health of your personal balance sheet. An individual who has a very strong balance sheet has a 1 in 250 chance of succeeding as an F&O trader. But an individual whose balance sheet is riddled with liabilities and loans, they have a 1 in 100,000 chance of making it as a trader. So I started trading in 2015 with an initial capital of about rupees 1 lakh. The reason why I chose that number is because it was little less than my 1 month salary. And at the end of that year, I had the almost exact same capital, a little more than 1 lakh. And by 2017, I ended up the year with approximately 3.5 lakh. 2017, once I had 3.5 lakh rupee, instead of purely doing option buying, I moved on even to trading futures, and I also moved on towards trading commodities at a slight level, like with a starting capital of 25 to 30,000 rupees in the commodity market. By 2018, I was trading with a capital of roughly 20 to 25 lakhs. By 2019, this is a year before COVID, and I was trading with roughly 75 lakh rupees trading capital. By 2020, 2021, I had crossed more than 1 CR in my trading capital, and this is all organic capital. I'm not adding any capital into the market. 2022, I experienced my first losing year, and the trading capital today would be closer to approximately 7.5 crore rupees as of 2025. It took me approximately 6 to 7 years to move from 1 lakh to 1 CR. So this has been my trading journey in the last decade. Of my total portfolio, approximately at the moment 20% would be in bonds. That is treasury bills, G-Secs, and state development loans. So the remaining 80% automatically gets split between equity and futures. So there are two ways, right, to achieve financial abundance. One of them is you focus on your income sources, and the other one is you optimize your savings, right? So this role has been divided between my wife and I. So what I do is I only focus on the income sources. I don't look at saving anything. And it is her job to optimize the saving. So for example, if we purchase this from this shop or from that shop, if we use this card or that card, if we use this coupon code or that coupon code, these decisions are taken by the wife. So she is trying to cut down on the cost, whereas I am trying to maximize revenue. So the biggest financial loss in any single year that I would have had might be less than 25 lakhs, but it's the shock of the loss and it's the waste of time in the year. But I can safely say that in the 10 years and more that I have been trading, and in almost 20 years that I've been working, if an individual loses their own money, it doesn't matter whether it is 2 lakh, 20 lakh, 50 lakh, as long as you lose your own money, it is the easiest loss to recover. It is only the loss that happens to health, to relationships, to anything that damages your home environment. That loss takes a real toll on the individual and can significantly alter the way they experience life. It makes them pessimistic. So, financial losses are a part and parcel of the journey of a trader. Much like getting punched on the face is the part and parcel of being a professional boxer. Let's assume I have a stone and a hammer in my hand and I strike this stone 100 times. And finally, on the 101st strike, it breaks. So, my question is, were the first 100 strikes useless? So when it comes to seeing my biggest year, I actually do not see it as the biggest, as the year in which I made the most money or the year in which I had the least loss. I recount the hundreds of trades I have taken and the discomfort I have felt in that process, which has contributed towards it. It took me 7 years, actually, 6 years to cross an annual earning of 1 CR and above from the market. Unfortunately, traders who are hardworking, like many other people, are positioned as gamblers, punters, in which the core message of who a trader is, which is an expert risk manager, somehow gets hidden. If you have a positive balance sheet, that is, you don't have loans on you, and you are saving money which you do not structurally need, you have to choose the asset class of your choice and get yourself in the market, even if it is through a national pension scheme or a PPF or anything. So don't deny yourself the opportunity of being a participant in perhaps the most bullish economy in the world. And if you're young, buying into these deep corrective dips is your best bet towards financial freedom from the stock market. So when it comes to learning how to trade, when it comes to learning any particular subject, reading is undoubtedly the best way to pursue your passion. It truly is. But if I had to pick the top 3 books, the first one would be Steve Neeson's Beyond Candlesticks. In fact, any book written by Steve Neeson on the topic of candlesticks will be really worth your time in reading, because candlesticks trading or using candlesticks as a mean to trade is actually a Japanese technique. And Steve Neeson is an American who traveled all the way to Japan to learn it from Japanese rice traders and then documented it in the form of a book, and it is also presented very well. The second book that I would like to recommend is that written by Dr. Alexander Elder on the topic of multi-time frame trading. And when it comes to the third book, here instead of a book, I would recommend a publication house. So if the viewer who is interested in knowing more about the technical aspects of trading tries to read all books published by Wiley Publications, that is WILEY Publications, they will most likely find high quality books on technical analysis, which have been under publication for almost 2, 3, 4 decades and therefore have been vetted over a period of time. And many traders in the world, experienced or otherwise, will vouch for the quality of those books. See, if you are looking to be a full-time trader and if you're looking to achieve financial freedom, let me just give you the honest to God advice that I really feel. You need to acquire a mad level of skill. Okay, don't be under the assumption that, it's a chilled out job or something like that. It is actually, to the extent that you love working hard. If you love working hard, if you love thinking deep, if you love calculating, then it is a very enjoyable, fun environment to work in. But do but do not be under the impression that it is something that you can acquire just like that. It requires active, reflective thinking. There is not a trader in the world who does not think through what they have done in the market. You're going to absolutely love it. Every news in the world will matter your positions. You take up a trade position, and if there is a surgical strike across the border, you will see it in your position. You take up a trade position, and if there is a corporate scam in some other unrelated company, you will still see that impact in your position. Every event, no matter how small or how big, impacts that position, and you begin to start realizing how you're connected with everything in the world and how so many things need to work for you to achieve success. So therefore, by the end of doing all of it, you will realize that the single biggest factor towards your success was actually you just being present there. Every other variable has to align itself for you to get there, and you need to give active thoughts so that you are creating an exceptional amount of skill. So a lot of people ask, I want to quit my job to become a full-time trader. The answer is no. You want to quit your job, statement one. Statement two is you want to become a full-time trader. They're not connected, right? You want to quit your job because you're unhappy with your job. That's a separate issue. That has nothing to do with trading. To be a successful trader, you don't need to quit anything. I know it for a fact that for the first 4-5 years of my trading career, I was gainfully employed. And the only reason why I quit is because I felt that I can use this skill to do what I told you earlier: 4 months in Himachal, 8 months in Maharashtra, and dream life, one life, small life. What I want to do, I can do. I can spend time with family, kids, etc. And it is possible. So I believe that I quit job because I wanted to quit the job. It has nothing to do with trading. I can do this trading with any work. So what I would like to tell you is that time flies. You're young one day, you're in college, you just finished college, and the next day your daughter is as tall as your wife. It just feels like yesterday. So the best thing that I think I have had on this financial independence, if that is what we can call it, is that I have had the privilege of spending all of my time with my parents and kids and wife. So that's the single biggest advantage. When I was working and I was also studying trading, I used to get quite tired because my office was 6 days a week. And when I had to wake up at 6:37 in the morning, I hated it. So I remember having this conversation with God, so to speak, that if I become a good, profitable trader, I will wake up when I want, I'll wear what I want, I'll do what I want, and this is how I'm going to live my life. Years later, when I got all of this, I wake up when I want, I sleep when I want. Basically, I realized that we have to be very careful what we wish for because we just might get it. And now I regret, now I wonder if at that time I would have only asked God that just make me disciplined. Like, I think that would have been a far superior wish than waking up randomly and sleeping randomly and just wearing random clothes. So now I have asked God to make me more disciplined. Discipline is true freedom, is what I have learned, and not this waking up at any time. It just damages the body. I'm happier, but I'm also, let's say, fatter. So the best part of being financially independent is that you could ask for the wrong thing, get it, and have enough time to then ask for the right thing and work hard to get it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the answer.